Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Adelaide Oval. We're standing outside. It's the Windy City. That's Wellington. That's Chicago. It's not certainly not Adelaide, but it is quite windy, and things are very rapidly blowing away for England. Australia 4 for 271 in its second innings, leading by 356. And what a day for the pride of South Australia, Travis Head and Alex Carey. And we've got the Mayor of Adelaide himself to join Ben Horne and I tonight, Bharat Sundaresan, to talk us through the passion of South Australia today.
Look, Windy City or not, all roads lead here. The wind's coming. It's all about South Australia tonight. It's all about Adelaide tonight. It's about Travis Head. It's about Alex Carey. It's about the mighty South Australians just loving their fellow mighty South Australians. And we'll speak about the 100. We'll speak about Alex Carey's half century. But for me, the moment of the day was arm in arm, brothers in arms, Alex Carey and Travis Head walking off the field. At one point, Alex Carey telling Travis Head to, take the lead and lead him off, and then Trav going, nah, mate, you're coming with me. I don't know why he sounded like a podcaster we know, but anyway, at that point, him just asking Alex Carey to join him and walking off, and just to the moments leading up to that as well, up to that 100. I was summoned to the SA Premier's little cabin or where he was, and he was the happiest man there. He said, can it get any better? You had we had 54,000 people here today, but most of them were South Australians, let's say 43,000 South Australians who had vacated the village green. They were all there to see two South Australians, and Travis Head 404 test matches here in Adelaide.
Just on that, Bharat, and I know your perspective too, Ben, on this. Has any player, he's made history today, Travis Head, so becoming just the fifth player ever to score 4 consecutive Test hundreds at an Australian Test venue. But the other 4, none of them were from their hometown. In fact, one was English, Wally Hammond in Sydney. But Travis Head's done it in Adelaide. That is rare air. Has any player had a greater affinity with a particular venue, and has any player meant more to a particular venue? The only one I could think of in recent times, or relatively recent times, is Shane Warne at the MCG. I suppose Scott Boland had that day at the MCG, but that was once. This is now 4 years running.
And don't forget, when he did it for the first time, Daniel and Ben, no South Australian had made a century at the Adelaide Oval since 1995. Greg Blewett had done it on debut, and then there was this long wait. It's not that South Australia produced a lot of batters who played Test cricket at that time, not many who went on to play too many Test matches, but Travis Head himself took him 3 or 4 Test matches here before he broke that rut, and from that point on, he hasn't looked back. And it's a different Travis Head now. He's come back here as opener. It also means he's made 2 Test centuries in 4 innings as a Test opener. And I know there's a big election coming up here in a few months' time. And I, like I said, Pete Malinowskis has done a lot of good things for this state. But if Travis Head were to run for the Premier's job,
or for your job as Mayor.
He's getting all jobs. I think he has all the keys to the city. Maybe he'll give me one in return, but it's just, I can't think of someone who's won over a state completely. The whole state is united in calling Travis Head their hero.
Their daddy.
Yeah, and there was something extra special about this one, I think. I'm sure the others have been great too. I've probably seen them and I can't remember. But but the fact that Travis Head is opening the batting, because just the fearlessness, I suppose, of the way that he's taken that job on. He wanted that job, and that's a significant thing. And look, David Warner was an amazing opening batsman, and Travis Head's got a long way to go to be anywhere near David Warner's record. But he's got that fearlessness of David Warner, that willingness to just go on and take on a situation, impose himself on a game. And, what a find Travis Head's been for Australia at the top of the order. And, he does just have this incredible charisma out there. The crowd just sort of hanging off every single thing that he does, the kissing of the pitch, his reaction when he was dropped on 99. It is Shane Warne-like theatre when he's out there at Adelaide Oval.
We'll double back to the Australian batting order and some of the other ramifications of today, which there are a few, because for a team that's about to go up 3-0 in the Ashes and unassailable lead, there are quite a few questions that are going to need to be answered heading into the Melbourne Test. But before then, Bazball, we've issued the last rights about 6 times, but we're just about there. Today, it's funny, there were periods today where it was going all right. There was some tremendous resistance, it must be said, early in the morning from Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes when they played some good old conventional batting, and they dug deep and got the margin back to 85. And then there were just a couple of junctures there when wickets fell. But in the end, the lack of spinner or frontline spinner really, really cost them, didn't it?
Today was we got to the halfway stage of this series, didn't we, Daniel? Third day of the third test. And when we went into the lunch break, Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer, put on 106 runs on the board. They dragged the score from 8 for 213 at stumps last night, and with some contribution from Josh Tongue as well. They finished with 286, and to bring that lead down to double digits, it was 85. Still seemed like a big first innings lead for Australia. But then when they got Jake Weatherall out before lunch, and when Australia went to stumps, went to the lunch break, one down, not too many ahead, just over 100 runs. You felt like that second session had to be it. And probably the last opening England had, they've had a few in this series, was when Usman Khawaja got out against the run of play, and then Cam Green got out to another poor shot. They were 238 runs ahead at that point. If somehow they had just got 3-4 quick wickets from that point, with the amount of time left in this test, you might have said England had a chance. But if anything, Travis Head and Alex Carey just slammed it shut in their face and probably ended the series or England's Ashes hopes, whatever was left of it, for good.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, look, England's Bazballers have chased down some pretty massive targets, 2 in the 370s, 378 I think being the highest against India. So look, they are capable of miraculous things, but this is going to be on another level. I mean, you would think the way that Carey and Head have set Australia up here that, England are going to be chasing 500. And why wouldn't Australia push it to that level? Because a draw is good enough for them to retain the Ashes. There's no incentive for them to give England a look in this at all. So, look, I think tomorrow is going to be a pretty demoralising day for England, as today ended up being as well. The spinner situation is really interesting because you've got Shoaib Bashir, who has been groomed for this moment for 2 years, not playing because England felt that they needed more batting because the top order weren't doing enough in the first 2 matches. So they've really tied themselves in a knot. Somerset, the county of Jack Leach, is tweeting back in England, why haven't you picked Jack Leach? Which is what Nathan Lyon was saying at the start of the series. So England have really stuffed it up. I mean, it's obviously the spinner is only one factor in what's gone wrong in this series.
Mainly it's been Snicker.
That would be one of the main. Yesterday at one point, it felt like Snicko is the reason they were 2-0 down and about to go 3-0 down in this series. But no, on a serious note, even the Bazballers you speak about, Benny, who chased down those totals, that was a different English team.
Johnny Bairstow.
Johnny Bairstow was in there, and they had a lot of experience in there in that team. This team, and on the basis of the way they batted in the first innings, which was not Bazball at all. I mean, we've not seen a lot of Bazball in this series compared to 2023 when we were there. For them to chase whatever down, they'll talk about it, and probably the moment somebody hits a 4 or a 6, they'll be, oh, we're back, Bazball is back. But
that identity that Brendan McCullum was able to create has fallen apart on this
completely
trip
fallen
tour.
apart.
Yeah.
And all the mistakes that you mentioned there, that they've kept making, not picking more than one reserve batter in the squad, and someone was just a kid who's not played a lot of cricket, in Jacob Bethel. And they've just been papering the cracks. And we've seen so many visiting teams come here, paper the cracks, and by the time they get to the third test, it all catches up with them.
For the third consecutive day, this really sums it up. For the third consecutive day, we saw a hat-trick at Adelaide Oval today. You mightn't have heard about it. For the third straight day, England put up an assistant coach for the post-play press conference. We had Marcus Trescothic the first day. Who was the second day?
David Saker, Marcus
Trescothic, and then...
And they actually had a half-decent day one.
Jeetan Patel.
Yeah.
And now, look, he spoke well, if not in roundabout riddles, in his own way. Like, he spoke articulately, but there was certain holes. I mean, the biggest thing for me from that press conference, I just couldn't quite get my head around, and I asked a follow-up question, I still didn't get really a good answer, was that they kept saying that they picked Will Jacks for this test because of what happened in the first two, for the conditions for the first 2 tests. And they clearly, their batting was so rattled, they've ended up picking an extra batter for a test, but they didn't really need an extra batter. They needed a frontline spinner, but they don't really have a frontline spinner, so they're just picking the best available. They're just nowhere. And it's going to get worse because who knows what sort of teams are going to roll out in Melbourne and Sydney now that the series is gone. That is a good segue because I'm even more interested to see what sort of team Australia picks. Who is going to be the top 7? Because Cameron Green had another dirty day, got out cheaply. He's nowhere at the moment with the bat at least. Marnus Labuschagne, it's one step forward, one step back for him. He's just not really able to get consistently going. And Jake Weatherald, though he shouldn't have been out because it was pitching outside leg, it still didn't look great, and there are still some technical flaws which have been spoken about by Justin Langer on Channel 7 today. So, what are your thoughts? Who's Australia going to be picking? And it was Usman Khawaja made runs again. So, and Steve Smith hopefully coming back.
I mean, Usman Khawaja made runs, but you wonder if he had just carried on, and he would be kicking himself for the way he got out. It was a nothing delivery from Jack, which turned quite a bit as well, which also tells you that Nathan Lyon's going to have a big role to play later on. I saw him during the tea break just licking his lips and checking out the pitch like he does. So he chased that wide one. So 40 and 40, pretty impressive runs for Usman Khawaja. What if he had kicked on and made 100? Then he would have made himself sort of undroppable. But because Australia seem to really like this makeup where Alex Carey at number 6 now, he's gone 65, 100, and now he's made another half century. So you wouldn't want to move him from there. So probably, in my opinion, guys, I think Steve Smith if he's fit, just comes back in for Usman Khawaja. And Cam Green, look, they still look at him as an all-rounder. And his spell yesterday was
very
crucial.
very well.
He got rid of Harry Brook, who at that point looked dangerous. So I can't see them leaving him out. But where he bats will be a question that will be asked. Could they potentially send Josh Inglis up to 5 and push Cam Green down to 7? I mean, it wouldn't be the worst call. Just give him some time, breathing space. I don't think they'll do that. But I don't know whether Usman Khawaja's 2 innings here have put them in such a fix that they can't leave him.
Well, certainly, I think Australia winning this test, which we expect them to do, I think enhances the chances of the younger guys, Inglis and Weatherald, staying. I mean, if England had been able to steal this test, then I think Usman comes back in Melbourne. It's a tight call. I do think, Bo Webster has to be a big chance, though, for Melbourne, for 2 reasons. One, Cameron Green's struggles, and also if they're looking to complement Green with another all-rounder, because getting to test 4, if they want to push Pat Cummins through, if they want to push Scott Boland through, if they want to push Mitchell Starc through, then I think there's some sense in just having an extra bowling option. And, if we're talking about a number 7 vacancy, Bo Webster's perfectly capable of doing that. So I think Bo Webster should be a big show for Melbourne.
Or Michael Neitzer as well. I mean, he wouldn't be the worst shot. We discussed him playing at 7 for this test, with him at 7 commensurate and starting 9.
And that's why I think tomorrow is such a big day. It's a weird one because in the context of the match, it's not important really at all. But Josh Inglis, he could do with the score, because otherwise, if you're a non-keeping 7 who doesn't bowl, what are you? You want to make some runs, and he hasn't quite made that huge impression just yet. Anyway, another year, another Ashes summer. It's another 3-0. It's going to be potentially 4-0 and 5-0, and it's just more of the
deflating,
same.
isn't it? It's deflating. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Just looking at some of those English journalists' faces.
We'll have some of them on soon.
Yeah, I know, and some of them have actually paid their own way to get here because they thought this will be it. This will be the legacy-defining thing, and you do feel for them. I mean, forget
Not
about
that
the-
much.
Not that much. I mean, I feel more for them than the English players. But Benny, you're always on top of everything. I'm sure there are some potential book deals signed as well, or at least with a pencil, because I think a lot of them thought this is it. This is going to be a career-defining series, not just for the players, but for them as well.
Instead, they're going to be reading Brendan Doggett's autobiography. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you again tomorrow.